As the Sultan, son of Muhammad, brother of the sun and moon, grandson and viceroy of God, ruler of the kingdoms of Macedonia, Babylon, Jerusalem, Upper and Lower Egypt, emperor of emperors, sovereign of sovereigns, extraordinary knight, never defeated, steadfast guardian of the tomb of Jesus Christ, trustee chosen by God himself, the hope and comfort of Muslims, and great defender of the Christians. I command you, the Zaporovian Cossacks, to submit to me voluntarily and without any resistance, and to desist from troubling me with your attacks.
Sultan, Turkish devil, and damned devil's kith and kin, secretary to Lucifer himself. What kind of knight are you, huh? You can't slay a hedgehog with your naked ass. You know what? The devil shits and your army eats it. You will not, you son of a bitch, make subjects of Christian sons. We've no fear of your army. By land and by sea, we will battle thee and fuck your mother. You Babylonian scullion, you Macedonian wheelwright, you're a brewer of Jerusalem, you're a goat fucker of Alexandria, you swineherd of Greater and Lesser Egypt, pig of Armenia, Podolian thief, Catamite of Tartary, hangman of Canaanites, and fool of all the world and underworld, an idiot before God, grandson of the serpent and the crickener dick, pig snout, mare's arse, butcher's dog, unchristened brow, screw your own mare. So the Zaporozhians declare, you lowlife, you won't even be herding pigs for the Christians. Now we'll conclude, for we don't know the date and we don't own a calendar. The moon's in the sky, the year with the Lord, the day's the same over here as it is over there. And for this, kiss our arse.
Welcome to Flyby Films, a once or twice a month podcast that, using the magic.
First off, I really like the fact that you said podcast, because that's pretty much how we both feel about this podcast. Is it a podcast?
You know what the best part about this is I made a big deal before we started recording to pull up the actual script, and I still fucked it up as I'm reading it.
Do it again.
Yeah, let's start over. This can be included.
No, okay, Justin, keep this in. Keep all of it in. We're just going to start it over. It's going to be like that first one was a cold take. It was like the opening joke on a Saturday Night Live. And we're just it's gonna be cold open.
I think we could probably have a big discussion on if it's funnier than Saturday Night Live. It might actually be.
Well, it depends on what decade we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Welcome to Flyby Films. Once or twice a month, using the magic of distance-defying tubes or some shit like that, we get together to discuss films that either have been or will be forgotten. I'm Jameson Barsotti, and sitting next to me in this tiny box in Tulsa, Oklahoma, is my friend and co-host, Blake Collier.
That's
On
me.
this episode, that is you, we're going to be discussing the film Ghosts of the Civil Dead.
Which I did not know about until you suggested it.
Yeah, so this movie has actually loomed large in my mind, so I didn't realize until I started kind of looking for it and finding that it was very hard to actually find that it did fit our category.
Oh yeah.
And I was actually pretty pleased about that. I had never seen this movie before. I wanted to because it's famous for being the film debut of the musician Nick Cave.
And what a debut it is.
And not only that, but it's directed and it's the directorial debut of his friend and well-known director
And collaborator.
and collaborator John Hillcoat, who's also Australian. So known, I think, mostly for The Proposition.
Yes.
But
Also Lawless.
I believe. Oh yeah, I saw Lawless in theaters.
You
And
didn't
I
like
really
it. I actually liked it pretty well.
Yeah. I don't know what it was.
You put Tom Hardy in a movie, I'm gonna like it.
I was gonna say it had your boy Tom Hardy. It also had Shia LaBeouf, right?
And he's generally speaking not bad.
You know what? I think I can't unthink of Shia LaBeouf as even Stevens' character.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I applaud him for trying to do different things.
Yeah.
But let me scoot back. I think John Hillcoat is also attached to the current effort to bring Blood Meridian
Ooh.
to the big screen.
Because his other movie was The Road.
Yes. Oh, he did The Road, and that was actually really good too.
Yeah.
I kind of feel a little weird about this one, and I think we've talked about this before. Because if John Hillcoat makes Blood Meridian, that means Nick Cave will do the soundtrack, which is fine. And I think Nick Cave will do a great job. I have nothing against Nick Cave doing that. But I think my power list for this would be David Eugene Edwards. So that's my
Amen to that.
Secret hope casting for that. But what do I know?
Do you know what John Hillcoat's most known for me?
I don't.
Getting confused with Andrew Dominic.
Yes. Who is
because
also...
For the longest time, I thought Hillcoat had done the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. No, Andrew Dominic. But you know what's funny about Andrew Dominic? Also collaborates with Nick Cave.
Yeah. I think he's made 3 Nick Cave movies. Actual specific Nick Cave movies at this point.
And has one of the best crime neo-noir movies, I think, in the past decade, which was Killing Me Softly.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's so good.
Is it good?
It's so good.
I think I liked the assassination of Jesse James by the coward. I still love that movie.
It's amazing. I love that movie too.
That movie is amazing, and I think it holds up even now. But I liked that movie so much that when I think Killing Them Softly was his follow-up, and I read a few reviews that I was like, I don't know, and then I just never got around to it. So,
I've I randomly saw it in the theater because I was like, well, I like that one movie he did, and I don't remember if this Brad Pitt, if Brad Pitt was coming off of Burn After Reading or if this was right before Burn After Reading, but I remember I was really at the height of my Brad Pitt enjoyment
Yeah.
at around this time, and this only added to it because he's exceptional
Okay.
in this.
Okay. I'll catch that sometime. Actually, like, knowing that you liked it, Blake, has put it back on my
Well, and
I'm
there's so many
interested.
good like actors in it, like Scoot
Yeah.
McNairy,
Mm-hmm.
James Gandolfini before he passed
Oh,
beyond
yeah,
this
yeah.
mortal coil. Um, there's a lot of good people, and I think it's Richard Jenkins is in it. Um, yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Richard Jenkins is a fun surprise because he'll do gritty crime,
Oh yeah,
but he also does like soft indie, like,
yep.
heartfelt movies.
It's what we call
Um,
multifaceted.
yeah, no, he's a gem. He's a gem. And then there was some movie recently where he was very, very funny. I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember things these days.
Yeah,
But yeah. Um. Anyway, but yeah, Andrew Dominic also he directed. Have you ever watched One More Time with Feeling?
no,
So that is the Skeleton Key. Um. Uh. Sorry, Skeleton Tree. Um. Video, like, movie version of that album.
okay.
So it's just Nick Cave basically like actively like processing his grief on screen and talking about how like he because this is like right after his son
His first
uh,
son.
his first his
Yeah,
the first death um passed away, and so he's just like going through that and talking about this idea of like one more time with feeling and how that's like an oxymoron because you're clearly like if you're practicing this you're actually losing feeling, and how that's kind of working together with the fact that he
yeah,
has to go on stage while this is all coming. So I don't
yeah,
know, it's really good, it's really powerful. So
yeah. No, he's. I could listen to the live Idiot Prayer album on repeat. Uh, just him and a piano in an empty
yeah,
space, like a massive empty space. Um, that's I yeah. If they had filmed that one, which I think they did, but I don't know if it was made
hmm
into an actual like concert movie or not. But I could watch that pretty easily. Um, yeah. No, Nick Cave. I totally agree that David Eugene Edwards would nail the music for Blood Meridian, and it fits his
hmm
style anyways. Um, he's just not well known, unfortunately.
he's
So
not well known, although there's I guess 16 horsepower is playing a couple shows this year.
what?
So yeah, there's a
All in Colorado, I'm guessing.
no, Montana. So there's a festival called Fire in the Mountain, something like that, in Montana, and it's a lot of like old metal bands that are
That's
playing. And then they have 16 horsepower as one of the headliners, which is actually pretty cool. So
that's amazing.
yeah,
I the idea of going to a bunch of old metal bands in Montana sounds like the height of like festival going.
yeah. It's so when I say like old metal bands, these are like old stoner metal bands. So
Okay, even better.
it's definitely very mountain folk like.
Okay. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
um,
down.
dude. I I
Inject that
usually am.
shit into my veins.
I know. I'm usually like, I don't know. Festivals are kind of like bad. They don't, you don't get the experience. And I still am kind of a hater for the most part because of that. But like this one, I was tempted. I was very tempted.
Have you ever been to Montana?
I have stayed in Red Bear or Red Lodge, Montana overnight,
Gotcha.
and eaten at a diner. But that's the most I've done. Oh, we drove through Billings, I think, and that was it. So yeah,
I've always wanted to go to Montana. I've been to Wyoming, which
yeah,
to anyone listening from Wyoming, y'all have a beautiful state.
absolutely.
Just gorgeous and clean. I don't know if it's the case anymore, but at least over a decade ago, we drove into Cheyenne and did not see a lick of trash anywhere. I was amazed. So y'all are doing something right, or at least
Yeah.
y'all used to be doing something right. Yeah. No, I've got a strong infatuation with those northern states.
Wyoming and
The
Montana,
barrenness of it.
yeah, are pretty cool. Montana actually is the fourth largest state, which is usually kind of the round where people like by land, where people start forgetting like the ranking in that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of neat. It's huge, real big. So.
We just finished a cattle drive to Montana. Matter of fact.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm still
Well,
working
you
through it.
haven't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will.
We're alluding to the great novel Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry, which is highly recommended, at least from me. I assume
I am
Jameson's enjoying it.
enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I'm just a slow ass reader. Which you know what kind of fits with the pace of this.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
yeah.
It's true.
So I'm not.
No hate here, man.
I am enjoying it. And I do feel like I owe an apology to Blaine for not finishing it on time. So
You don't need to
it,
apologize.
if Blaine is ever listens this far into a podcast of ours,
He won't.
I will finish Lonesome Dove. And you know what, Blaine? It'll be your fault that I finish it, so you can feel good about that.
There you go.
But yeah,
Jameson, I need you to
Blake.
tell me about this time that you taught math in a county jail twice, and then it just kind of sunk.
Yeah, so we were talking about this because for whatever reason, I think because Blake and I are stubborn assholes, and we are seeing how long we can kind of keep this bit going of picking prison movies
Or prison adjacent movies.
prison adjacent movies, which so far, yeah, I don't know if we mentioned that, but Ghosts of the Civil Dead, is about a prison, an incarceration center in Australia, and so that
High
kind of
tech
fits.
one,
Yeah,
but not high tech enough.
but not high
apparently.
tech enough. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll get into that. I thought that was an interesting thing. That was completely unexpected on my end. But yeah. So anyway, getting back to the story at hand, when I was at UCSC and I was in the math program there was actually my friend Bob got me into this.
Okay, hold up. You have a friend named Bob.
I have a friend named Bob.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Guess what great state Bob is from?
Montana?
Nope.
Delaware.
No.
Okay. I got nothing. Texas.
He's the Texan.
Where in? If you say Austin, it doesn't count.
No, not Austin. No, he did his undergrad before he came to UCSC at the University of North Texas, which I believe is in Denton.
Good for him.
So,
Good for
yeah,
him. That's a good
yeah.
school.
Yeah, no, and Blake, I say this with like the utmost sincerity. I actually think that you would really get along with Bob. Bob is a genuinely good person and very interesting and does his own thing. And yeah, no, it's not surprising that he was the one that kind of like brought me into this like thing. So he introduced
Okay,
me to this thing,
so real quick,
this program.
is his name actually Bob or is it Robert?
It's Robert, but he goes by Bob.
He goes by Bob. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he'll care if I say his last name is Hinchin,
Ooh,
and it has an interesting spelling. So yeah.
nice.
So
Okay.
he's a really great math teacher too. Anyway, but he introduced me to this program, which was just a bunch of like uh, grad students, a lot of people from the like astronomy department, and some other people who wanted to teach classes to inmates at the county jail so that they could get credit. So it was like this program so they could get credit and basically put it towards like community college classes once they get out. And the idea, and there was a study behind I think there was probably a grant somewhere, but there was a study behind this that was like giving inmates these opportunities reduces recidivism, which is the return rate, because it like gives people a chance to like start a program
Mm-hmm.
while they don't have much else to do. So I got involved with that, but I did the like safety training courses. I taught a couple times, and then because it was just a bunch of bumfuck grad students who had a million other things going on, it just fell apart.
You
And
just left those poor prisoners to like
yeah,
wonder what was next, and then it never got to the next.
I mean, I think there was something that was happening. There was some sort of like self-paced aspect to it.
Oh,
So it
okay.
wasn't just like and it was like a rotating cast. It was honestly like I felt bad even just kind of being involved because it was like it was so poorly structured. And it wasn't I do want to say it wasn't my friend Bob who was the lead on this. He was just involved trying to help them out because it was actually a bunch of astrophysics students who wanted to teach math and they didn't know how to teach math.
Oh my
And
god.
so they came to the math. Well, this is the thing that they needed the most. I mean, they were actually I remember like talking to the group about it and they were hopeful that they would eventually get to teach other classes, but it was it was these math classes that were kind of the stepping stone for everything else. But there's never any money for these things. But yeah, that was my experience.
Wait, are you saying that in modern jails and prisons there's not money for stuff like this?
Yeah, I'm saying they don't want to
Wait,
fund
okay.
this type of stuff.
I thought you lived in California. Do you not live in the
Hmm.
United States of America
Yeah,
where money grows on trees and wealth flows down the rivers?
where we care about people who
All
are
people?
locked away in prison,
Yeah.
and we don't
I
denigrate them.
clearly you're in Australia or some shit
Yeah.
like that.
Oh, yeah, Australia, where they care for all of their people.
Um, except for their the people out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
They've got their own history. Um, okay, so yeah, that was a little bit anticlimactic. I thought there was like a massive jail ride or something,
there
and that
was.
it was no longer safe for y'all to go or something.
I
Um,
told you it was. I told you it was
hey,
boring, and you
I'm just
wanted.
I I'm looking for podcasting. I'm just looking for good podcasting. I
Well,
just want to cast those good pods. That's all I want to
yeah.
do.
I will say the most interesting thing about it was learning that that the prisons in California are so impacted. And this was okay. This was 8 years ago, so I'm just assuming they haven't figured out this problem. That there was a need for actual semester long classes because there were people who were in there for like multiple years. And
Mm,
jails are supposed to be like holding cells until you get like, and it wasn't just the prison system that was impacted, it was the prison system and the like
yeah.
court system that's impacted. So like they're not getting their cases. And I just think of how fucked up that is because you sure like crime is bad and doesn't pay, and we want some sort of justice when people commit crimes. But at the same time, to me, slow justice isn't justice, and bureaucratically slow justice is even less. And so, like, it just feels like a broken system. Anyway, that's
Um,
a little bit of
I'm pretty
soapbox.
sure it's been fixed by now. I mean, your governor Gavin Newsom has probably
Oh
fixed
yeah.
all these things. Uh, I also want to talk about your wife's new endeavor. She quit her last podcast. She just threw that down the toilet. She was like, "I'm done with this shit." What is she doing now?
So she's doing a podcast now that's just a knitting podcast. She watches knitting podcasts constantly
On
and like
YouTube?
listens to them on
Oh,
YouTube. Yeah.
huh.
Um,
Does it have video?
which
I'm trying to imagine like a knitting YouTube video.
well, so what it is it's just someone kind of talking about their life, but mostly focused through the lens of their knitting projects. And they will talk through what they do. And apparently, this is really interesting to people who knit because these people, like, she'll just find a new person, and it's not that this person is even much of like an influencer. Like, if you think of an influencer and you think of like that in your mind,
Hmm.
all of these people are like not that.
Yeah.
They are just very normal. They talk they don't have like a voice for radio, or anything like that that like screams this is a successful podcast, except they're all exceptional knitters, right? And apparently the knitting community really loves that. And so they're always showing their projects and
Okay.
yeah, so I think that's kind of an interesting niche. It's definitely not my thing. There are a couple of the podcasts where the the knitters are a little more like extra, but I would say that's kind of the exception to the rule. Most of them are just very
Gotcha.
like it's diary esque. Um,
So, is this going to be a YouTube podcast or is this just a podcast?
she's doing it for the YouTube because the visual component of
Ah, is she just going to
knitting.
show her hands and talk into a mic as she
Yeah,
knits?
I think a lot of that is like that. And honestly, I think she just like wants to share her projects that she does with the world. So, you
No, I
know.
like that, and I want you to ask her something for me, and you can report back next time.
Okay.
Um, is she hoping to become the first knitting influencer on YouTube?
I don't think that is possible. I think there are plenty of knitting
Mm,
influencers.
uh, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you,
Oh,
Jameson.
yes.
Um, tell her that. I'm sure she'll appreciate it.
I
Um,
will.
yeah. So knitting podcast. Probably still somehow more exciting than anything we put out, if I had to guess. Um,
Probably.
Okay,
So
so yeah, what's it called? Knitting with
It's
Kira?
no, it's called the Winding Yarn.
Oh, that's a good
Um,
name.
yeah, it was actually she was actually really proud of that name. She
Yeah,
got really excited telling me about it, and I liked that. So I
nice.
told her it was a good name. So
Well, so has the first episode dropped yet?
I believe so.
Okay, so everyone go to YouTube, look up The Winding Yarn with Kira
Yeah.
Barsotti. That's
Yeah.
Ciara, correct?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, listen to it. Be lulled into knitting.
Yeah. If you're
It could be
interested
your
in,
ASMR even
yeah.
at night.
Um, just to come completely clean, I was very impressed with how quickly I was able to recall the name of her podcast. That I actually doubted that that was the real name, but I did check it just now, and I was correct. So, the
Okay,
Winding
then
Yarn.
we don't have to offer a correction then, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to offer a
Not that
correction
we ever have in
on
the
the fact that
past.
we don't need a correction.
I'm pretty sure we've gotten many things correct and we have never corrected them.
You know
Unless
what?
Thad wrote in.
I will say we do get things wrong, but if you just count the number of times we get things right and put that against like the ratio,
Oh, the ratio is
we
great.
we blow it out of the water because
Oh, I
like
mean, all of our movie opinions are like spot on.
they
So,
are spot on.
I mean, you can't really lose.
Okay,
You have
like
at least you have at least 80 some odd great movie opinions. So if you get a couple of things wrong on the other episode, it's fine. Whatever.
I mean, whatever. I have two questions for you.
Okay. All right.
Do you want the checkup question or do you want the bullshit question?
Uh
What order?
which one's gonna take the shortest amount of time? You can do that one first.
I don't know. Um, I mean,
Checkup question.
okay. Blake, how have you been?
Um I'm tired tonight. I'm tired. Um I mean, I'm sure everyone who is so used to my persona on this podcast can tell probably that I am tired. I'm not quite as peppy. Um,
Hmm.
but that's largely because I've been taking care of my kids all day by myself. My wife went with one of her friends from church and helped her run a wedding. So
Oh,
she does catering, this lady at our church, and so she occasionally asks my wife for help for a wedding. So she spent the whole day out there helping with the catering on a wedding, and I took care of the kids and brought them to church and
yeah.
whipped their asses. And I'm just kidding, I didn't do that. I wanted to a couple times, but um, yeah,
Sounds like you're a
yeah,
parent. Yeah.
I'm pretty tired. And yeah, I did the laundry, did dishes, all sorts of stuff. Man, I was a domestic goddess today.
That's
Pretty proud of myself.
that's usually how I describe you to my friends.
I mean,
'Cause I'm
I've even
like,
got
oh
the
yeah,
cleavage to prove it.
Blake is the he's just a domestic goddess.
Um,
Blake,
yeah, I'm tired. So yeah, that's how I've been. It's been a
and
good weekend, but yeah, I'm tired.
since we've met last on the podcast,
Hmm.
you did post some pretty lengthy essays, and
Yeah, yeah,
you got some heat on some of
I
these,
did.
right?
I did get some heat. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got some heat. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, if you want to read it, you can go to the Webworm on Substack. That's where I write. Um, it's like the fifth iteration of my Substack because I have a love-hate relationship with Substack. It's increasingly getting more and more hated
But
with every decision they make. But
you're really
yes,
excited about their partnership with
oh
Polymarket, right?
yes, Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
That and the fact that they're now doing Substack TV, which I think is stupid.
Wonderful.
But yeah, so there's a lot of things I don't like about Substack. I think they're just as you know, they like to talk about how they're like anti social media and all that stuff, but it's literally that's all it is. Minus long form essays in newsletter form. That's all. That's like the only part that's not social media. Yeah. So I wrote a essay that I had originally not intended to ever publish, but my review of Seth Wick's new book of poetry took longer than expected, so I needed something, and that was something I was like, well, I might as well just put this out there, toss it out. I did some editing, some kind of finessing, put some footnotes in because I like to be self-deprecating in my footnotes, stuff like that. So I had a couple of nightmares leading up to the publishing of that one because I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. This could be bad, but whatever. What are they going to do? Burn down my house and kill my children? Probably not. So, yeah. So I did it, and
I will say,
an acquaintance of mine had some feelings about it, and that's
there were
then
some
later on in the day deleted his feelings and then texted me later on. So yeah, but all otherwise, the reception has been good, except for that one person. So
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that, caught some heat,
yeah,
but that seemed to build based on what you told me that there was some things after it, but then I actually missed all of that. I had to follow
excellent.
up after that because I didn't go into the comments.
You
And then
should
when
never
I
go
went
into
to
the comments.
well, I did because I was curious
Yeah,
after that, and then I was like, "Ooh, I gotta check this out." And it was actually a very nice reception
yeah,
after that, which was good. So,
yeah. No, it was perfectly fine. I
yeah,
have told a couple of people that this specific person in mind, and I doubt he'll ever listen to this podcast, so I'm not really concerned. Um, I wrote it. The He was the one I figured was going to make a comment in the
hmm
negative if I were to publish it,
hmm
because in some ways it was. I edited it with him and his wife in mind. uh, because of past decisions they've made towards my wife, and so I didn't really. At the end of the day, I was like, I edited it, and I was like, fuck it, doesn't matter.
yeah,
And yeah, it was fun. I woke
yeah.
up to that one comment, and then got more comments as the day went on, and then they were all deleted, and I was like, all right, cool.
That it is what
I
it
ain't got
is.
time to respond, so
Yeah.
I got work to do.
Um, you did mention before you said you posted this that you're working on a review for Sethwick's book,
Yeah.
and I do feel like we should actually give it a call out. No pun intended.
I see what you did there.
So yeah, I'm holding it right here. It's
I'm
on my
really
desk.
hoping that you pronounced the title correctly. I'm waiting
Uh,
for it.
is it call out coyote?
That's right.
Poems.
You got it. Call out coyote.
Call out coyote
Most
poems.
people say coyote. So
Well, I was going to say that, and then you made me second guess myself, and so I went with
it,
the
you can
second
say
option.
neither one of them is incorrect.
Yeah.
It's just a very specific regional thing.
Well, and you know, I think you mentioned this was maybe something you said on Substack too that I read that I'm recalling. is like, you know, reading poetry is really a lot of it,
Yeah.
and out loud. And so I've been trying to take that approach in reading through the poems too. Is like, can I read this one out loud? You know, I'm in a space to do that, and
Yeah.
so yeah, both are probably correct, but there is probably
A phonetic element to it.
intention in the phonetic element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping that's going to be beginning of March when I get that one out.
Yeah.
I've already got my Easter post ready. I just need to do some editing on it. It's an old post of mine that I'm adding some revised content to.
Yeah.
That's right, because it's content. It's
Is
not.
it the one about
Yes.
the
Yes. Yes.
I have no idea.
You know exactly which one it is. You read it when I very first wrote it, and you're like,
Oh.
well, that completely changed the way I looked at that piece of media.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Then yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is that one that
But I'm going in to revise and add on to it,
Yeah.
which is kind of, generally speaking, that's been my approach. Is I do one longer new essay, and then I go in and I find something from my past that I want to either highlight and point towards wherever it is on another site, if the site's still alive, or take it from a site that's dead and kind of give new life to it. So
Yeah. Yeah. This speaking of forgotten things,
mhm.
that piece of media I feel like hasn't been discussed in a while. So
Maybe we should do that.
I'm thinking about it because yeah, we can
Yeah.
have we could have an Easter episode here.
I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everything just tended towards VHS, the
Yeah.
VHS series, and
Mhm.
anything else that was So.
Yeah. Which I'm behind again on the VHS series. I caught up
Yeah.
end of last year. No, midway through last year. But then the new one, the Halloween one, VHS Halloween came out, and I haven't seen that one yet. So
Mm.
I think they're about 30-70 on good versus bad. So,
Yeah, you know what? There's usually one good episode in
yeah.
in each one. So
Unless it's number 3, and then it's just a clusterfuck of horribleness.
I don't even remember that one.
Viral.
Oh yeah. Like second question of the night.
Okay, hit me.
How do you feel about pancakes?
I feel deep and positive things about pancakes,
Okay.
especially the ones made in actual pans.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you feel about chocolate chip pancakes?
Not as passionate. I think that's a deviltry that depletes the goodness of a pancake.
Okay.
I am more of a fruit person. If you can throw
Mhm.
some blueberries or something like that in them, I love that. I also like, oddities like going to Hawaii and having their specific type of pancake with, I can't remember the name of the fruit that they use out there.
Pineapples?
No, not pineapples. Something else. But they used it in their pancakes and it was delicious.
Would
So
you
yeah.
Final question
Okay.
on this line
All
of
right.
questions. Would you describe chocolate chip pancakes as sucking ass? Or
Well,
would you
so categorically speaking, I've never sucked an ass.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
technically I'm not sure I've I mean, I've cleaned several toilets in my life. And I've probably gotten some like molecular particle of shit in my mouth from that. That's probably the closest I've gotten to sucking ass. So I wouldn't say it's quite to that level, but not far away.
Okay.
Why? What's your issue with chocolate chip
Uh,
pancakes?
no, a friend. I actually don't have an issue with my chocolate chip pancakes. I think they're fine. I I'm largely like indifferent. Um,
That's kind of how I feel for the most part.
but a friend of mine, we'll call him Jared because that's his name, said, "I have a hot take. Chocolate chip pancakes suck ass." And then all of the people in that group chat were actually supporting him, and that's fine. Great, okay. But if you're gonna have a hot take, I feel like someone has to step in and be like, "That's wrong," right?
And
Like
you were that
that's.
guy.
I was like, "Look, heaven forbid." And they were like, "Oh, it's too much. It's too much. You have all this." And I was like, "Okay, heaven forbid a cake be decadent. You know, so like,
I think my bigger issue is less about the chocolate chips themselves, and it's more the type of chocolate. If you
sure,
had some like dark chocolate, I would totally be down for that.
dude. I think chocolate and pancakes are fine. I do
Yeah.
think that, like, again, sure, maybe you've got a more optimal way that you prefer, which is okay. I just think I was on their hinds about the
Mm.
sucking ass aspect of it. But um anyway, I brought it up because one of my friends who has also listened to the podcast said that I was being Blake levels of hater, and I was like, first of all, thank you. That's a compliment. Second of all, I'm disagreeing with a hot take. How am I the hater in this situation? And
What was the thing you were a hater about?
exactly, like, it was. I was very confused. I think I was, because I wasn't joining in on their circle jerk on hating
Oh,
chocolate chip pancakes. But really, like,
okay. So
yeah,
someone, wait,
exactly.
who's the guy? Oh, who said this? Who
It
said
was
that it was
It
Blake?
was George. It was
Oh, okay.
George.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, no, these are all guys that are familiar with the podcast
Okay.
and you. So
I especially love the fact that, and this is carried on throughout my entire life, at least from like
yeah,
college on. I am known as like a contrarian, like curmudgeon, like a hater,
yeah,
and I tell people this, and I'm like, well, I'm not really contrarian. Like contrarians choose to be contrary in the moment. I've held to these things since I can remember.
yeah,
It
yeah.
comes apparently it comes naturally to me.
Blake, I and maybe we're just a bunch of haters together on
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
but like, it was funny to me to hear you called a hater, because I mean, I'm guessing it's based on, like, maybe some comments on different books or things
I think
like
it's
that.
because I tend to have a tendency to be someone who quote unquote yucks someone else's yum. Um,
Yeah.
which I think
Which
is
which is, you mean, uh comparing the goodness of chocolate chips to sucking ass, something like that?
yeah, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
I I feel like it's less about me and more about the general culture has forgotten what true criticism is.
I agree. I agree, but I don't think saying that is going to sound any less
Oh
like a
no.
hater. No.
No, it's gonna make
Um
me sound like an elite jerk off.
yeah. But yeah, no. I mean, I feel I actually, like, find myself, because, like, some people will tell me they listen to the podcast and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, Blake sounds like a hater. And I'm like, no, he's not. I don't know how that's coming off, but yeah. Anyway,
I mean, I
yeah,
get it. I get it. And because coming from someone who has been known as a hater and a curmudgeon
yeah,
all of my grown up adult life, it's not surprising to me. It's not
yeah,
going to hurt my feelings. I
no.
don't understand it because it just seems so like it's so it's like I have no choice in the matter because this is all ingrained in me.
Yeah,
Um, but okay, I'm fine with that.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, I
I
do
still
not.
love people. That's the main part.
Yeah, you're a
I don't
lover
hate the people that I hate
of
on.
people. You're a hater of culture,
Yeah,
lover of people.
that's right.
Yeah.
Hate the culture, love the people.
Hate the culture, love the cult. Um,
Oh yeah, for sure love that cult and make
yeah,
love in the cult.
yeah.
So I suppose we should probably talk about this movie.
We
I
we
I
should
believe
transition.
I believe I sent you a message that you didn't respond to, and you didn't need to.
I
Um,
didn't understand it.
well, that's fair because I don't understand this movie. Um, I sent you a message that basically said, I'm not sure how this discussion is going to go because I'm not sure I actually know what happened in this movie.
Hmm.
I mean, yes, I know the parameters of the narrative, but actually watching it and knowing the parameters of the narrative, they don't always match in my mind
Hmm.
because this feels like a tone poem and less of an actual movie.
I I will say there is a lot of that. It's kind of jarring and almost dreamlike in a sense. Um, this is probably giving the movie too much credit. Like, okay, this movie was definitely made by people who are still getting good at their craft, I would
Yeah,
say.
this is very much
Yeah.
a quote unquote experimental film.
It's experimental, and you know what? More power to John Hillcoat
Yeah.
for doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I guess it's actually based on a memoir by a well-known murderer.
Yeah, he's from like Delaware or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually looked into that and read like briefly, just looked over, and he apparently got out of prison and then committed another crime or something like, and then
Yeah.
I think he killed himself or something.
I don't
I don't
know.
remember. I didn't go that hard into the
Yeah.
rabbit hole, but yeah, I did
Yeah.
notice that.
Although, I don't know what the book is about, but the movie definitely is focused on, at least from kind of the outside narrative of what what you're seeing, like the text that you're seeing around it,
Hmm.
is focused on, you know power and control of how society, uses that, and why it feels like it needs to do that, or at least the spin that's used. Um, but So this is maybe giving the movie a little more credit than it deserves, but it reminded me, and in when you say like tone poem, that also rings true. It reminded me of that Eisenstein movie we watched, October.
Minus
Um,
the montage.
yeah, minus the
Yeah.
montage, but like, if you'll allow this for a little bit, the
Oh,
whole
allow away.
structure the whole structure of this movie is leading up to something that actually takes place in October. I think, um, it's either October or
Oh.
November. It's sometime late in the year, and it goes almost month by month. Like, so
Hmm.
it's broken up, and that's very similar to the movie October, where kind of the there's this event made up of violence that we're told about, or that we're supposed to know about kind of going into the movie, and then there's kind of the lead up to, like, all the little levers and strings that are being pulled to kind of and turns of the screw that are being like molded into like why this event of violence happens. And so really, that's the movie that I was thinking of the most when I was like, oh, this feels a lot like this. Eisenstein is a much better filmmaker than than Hillcoat was in the 80s, probably. Like, I don't, we're talking about someone who's a master, so I'm not trying to like make that comparison.
Yeah.
But they did feel, it felt like that was maybe echoes of this. So
Yeah. No, I think that's good. I think that's good. I think I was I first off, I was probably a little bit too tired to watch it when I did. But I watched the whole thing. I didn't fall asleep, surprisingly. But I probably didn't catch a lot of the nuances in the story.
I will say,
Because a
did
lot
you
of it
watch it on
seemed
YouTube?
I did.
So it's probably
And
not helpful that it's a VHS rip of this
yeah,
movie.
VHS rip, and once again, because it's not German, thankfully. But it's some pretty strong Australian accent. And so I put on the subtitles, and once again, they're shit. But I don't think it really mattered because the dialogue in this movie, with the exception of Nick Cave, is really honestly probably not needed. Because they show everything you need to know action wise in the actual acting of the prisoners in the units. I think you could have gone without dialogue in this movie and you would have gotten the gist of what was going on. Which is, to Hillcoat's credit, a good thing.
There's maybe some stuff with the guards because the
Yeah,
guards aren't as
the
action
guards.
oriented.
Yeah,
But
that's true. The guards tend to be a little bit dialogue heavy, but that's because they're not quote unquote doing as much outside of just walking, side eyeing, and looking at video cameras in their nice little Panopticon that they got going on there. Yeah, I felt it's weird. This is the first prison movie I've ever seen where I felt, or at least I got a semblance of the mundaneness of prison. The just like eating away at your being day after day after day. And like, not, and of course, you have these little uprises and moments of violence and things like that. But like, you just have a bunch of men like stuck in this space together, not like a forced community, but there's no actual community. It's
yeah,
coerced. And so yeah, it's just really it's really dull.
yeah, it was really interesting to me. And again, I don't know how much of this is invented, but it was really interesting to see within that them trying to like start some sort of social aspect to the prison. Like,
Mhm.
so you had different prisoners kind of taking on different roles. You'd have. I think the meme about prison is that you have to become the big dog, and whatnot. And so you had some people like that, but then you also had some people just trying to like be unseen, and then you had like drug dealers who were trying to pop up businesses. And so yeah, it was this like forced community, but even in that they were like trying to figure out, okay, how do we
Mhm.
we're in these four walls, but how do we do these things? And you had like you had the person who was like, oh, we don't have any women, I'll become the woman in
Yeah.
this. And so and that was actually a really important part in their society
Yep.
too. And one so important that, when this person gets murdered late in the movie, it's actually highlighted because it's one of those turning of the screw moments where you're like, oh yeah, these guys lost this
Hmm.
outlet, a sexual outlet, which, as unhealthy as it was at least something there.
It was it was an element in place to control or tame the worser natures of
Mhm.
their psyche and or impulses.
Yeah.
Um, and then you rip that away. It's just one more thing that gets ripped away.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah,
interesting.
it's brutal. Like the movie really is like the more I think about it, the more I think it works as a film. Even though it's like I said, like you
Hard to
can tell me
follow.
the narrative beats, and I can watch the movie and be like, yeah, that makes sense, but that's not what I basically see when I watch this movie. I just see a bunch of guys sitting around or standing around smoking, watching porn, uh,
Mhm.
uh, having sex with this man who has become the quote unquote woman in the group, um, and then being completely separated from the actually quote unquote batshit prisoners, the highly dangerous prisoners.
Mhm.
Um, like I can't remember the guy's name at the beginning
The
when they
guard
brought him in.
killer.
The guard killer, yes. Um,
That one.
and
So the guard killer was interesting because, Mhm. like, to the movie's credit, they don't tell you. They tell you that there's going to be a big thing of violence, right?
mhm,
And they don't tell you what it's going to be. And um, you know, the guard killer is kind of built up as this really evil,
mhm,
force, but he commits suicide partway, like
yep,
3/4 of the way through the movie, and I actually like kind of missed it at first, because I wasn't, again, it sometimes it's hard to see what's going on.
yeah,
And so like I was like, oh, who was that? To Kira, she was watching it with me and she's like, oh, that was that guy. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because, going into it, I was thinking that he would play this role in this riot that
yeah.
that they're leading up to. So
And that would have been like a mainstream movie
hmm
approach, but I think took the right direction and was like, no, it's not about this.
yeah,
It's about like what you were saying. It's the continual turning of the screw
yeah.
until you've stripped away everything that they've had that has reconciled them to their fate
hmm
and allowed them to live with some semblance of normalcy.
hmm
You rip all that away, and what's left? Well, you you're left with what Foucault talks about in his essays on prison and violence, and
hmm
it's you're going to get the baser nature
hmm
of people, and so it and that's what prisons are there for is they're there to control you,
hmm
and whenever they start fucking with you, that's when bad stuff happens.
yeah,
So I mean, I it's it's like a slow roast of lobster. You know, you don't
yeah.
turn the heat up automatically. You let it just warm up little by little until the lobster's cooked. So that's what
Yeah,
this movie is.
yeah, one interesting thing, and I think we kind of touched on it too, was and if you compare this to some of the other prison movies we've watched, it's not really comparable to Wedlock. Wedlock's in a different league, but it's playing a different game. But like the experiment, posits this base nature type thing where you've got the guards against the prisoners, and so you have these two sides kind of warring, and you have the analyzers or the society kind of almost as the passive. It's the professors, and they're outside and they're intending to be passive, and
Yeah.
it doesn't go well for them. But this almost flips the role of the guards and society in this movie, where the guards are actually really passive, and yes, they're in the Panopticon, and
hmm
they're the vessels that are
Yep.
used for that. But they I think I thought it was interesting how passive and like they didn't have agency even
Yeah.
in their roles, even when they were trying to like escape from their roles.
Mm-hmm.
They were stuck on this track too, and so it felt like they were much more a part of this
Mm-hmm.
too, a part of this mess. And then in the experiment where you have them kind of having the power in this way, yes, the guards
Yeah.
had maybe a little more freedom than the prisoners, but you didn't get the sense, especially when one tries to leave and ends up committing suicide. That's like
hmm
the one bit where it's useful to hear the dialogue because that happens off
Yeah.
screen. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I actually really like that aspect of the movie because I think what a lot of prison movies miss is that, or at least it's just super tempting to make the guards the quote unquote villain.
Mhm.
And a lot of great movies are made with the guards or the warden being the main villain.
Yeah.
Brute Force being one of
Brute
them.
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption. Pick your poison. Great movies, but I think what is really impressive about movies like this is that it actually shows how the guards are just as much prisoners as the prisoners are. And
Mhm.
that, yes, they're doing the work of the quote unquote state, but their agency is stripped as well. They're merely pawns in the grand surveillance of this massive mass incarceration. Um,
Yeah.
and so that is a pretty powerful statement, honestly, to show that both are differently, but both are prisoners. Um,
Yeah.
and no one gets out of it without blood on their hands. I mean, it's brutality through and
Yeah.
through. So
Yeah, in that sense, this is almost like kind of an evolution of like brute force, whereas like brute
mhm,
force may have been like it actually is surprisingly political in how it brings in like the senator
yep,
and how they interface with the warden, but it's still kind of that classic like guards versus prisoners story, because it makes sense even if you could see kind of the creeping in of of you know the more powerful's control
yep,
in the prison system. But this is kind of like that next step, which I feel like that's where we're at right now still, like
hmm
talking about
yep,
talking about prisons not being fixed is like, yeah, these things are just machines at this point, and they're machines used by the powerful to
yep,
and not that that hasn't always been part of it, but yeah. I will say, so a couple other things that I wanted to mention about the movie was, and we alluded to this at the very beginning, was this movie almost has. I was like, when it first started, I think I texted you. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to be sci-fi, and I
yeah,
took that back a little bit. It's not really sci-fi, but it does have this like high tech. almost cyberpunk feel to it.
Neo-modern style
Yeah.
building and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of futuristic but also brutalist in a sense.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
like
That's a great term.
yeah,
Brutalist. Yeah.
it's and there's a lot of computers
Hmm.
whirring around in how it plays out things.
And
And I thought
the cells are kind of like space capsules in a
yeah,
weird way. Like in that
yeah,
kind of the sliding doors are very much like a what you would see in a space movie.
yeah. And I thought that was so interesting, and it was very unexpected, and it kind of
And
gives
it's
it,
super underplayed.
it
Like
oh
they
it
do not
yeah, I
it's
I would say to the
it's
point,
like dress setting.
yeah, to the point where where it's like sci-fi realism, right?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
there's it wouldn't even be, I wouldn't even call it a sci-fi film even if it has this kind of cyberpunk feel to it. Like I don't think it fits into that, but it does have the effect of giving the movie kind of a timelessness,
Yeah.
where it it boots it out of 1988, and so it feels kind of in its own zone,
Yeah.
which I think is actually kind of a cool thing. And
Oh, I love when movies do that.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like It Follows with the little
hmm
moments where it's like, no, this is not 90s, this is not 80s, this is also kind of in the future, but not really at the same time. And
yeah.
yeah, there's this liminal element to some of these movies where they're
it
intentionally trying to like take it out of time.
Yeah, it's so interesting how you can do that, because I feel like one of the coolest uh ways It Follows does that is with the little like reader that
The clamshell reader.
yeah, the
Yeah.
clamshell reader that Yara
Yep.
has. And it's so interesting because like it could be like something where she's like doing like some sort of Palm Pilot stuff on, but no,
Hmm.
she's reading The Fucking Idiot. And and that like throws it all across time,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
yeah. uh
Yeah.
no, I thought I still am impressed by that, because I don't even understand it, and it's
Yeah.
great. And
And it's literally just small moments like that
just
that
small
cause
things.
you
Yeah,
to, oh, that is odd. That's not something we know about nowadays.
yeah.
And yeah, this movie did something similar. Like it would show shots of the outside of the prison, and like you
Hmm.
said, it's brutalist architecture, but with sweeping sand from the
Hmm.
Australian outback, I'm assuming. Um, and even the segments of the movie are divided by MS-DOS style,
Hmm.
uh, like documenting, like basically saying this is what's happening at this point. This
Yeah.
is where we're at in these months of what we're showing you. Um, and so it's very much in, like, there are certain elements of it that are very much in the range of like Blade Runner and
Hmm.
Terminator and things like that, while at the same time really being like, yes, but it's also
Yeah.
these. Like it's also Mad Max. It's also
Yeah.
like, it's um yeah, no, I love it when films do that. When they
Yeah.
kind of just make you second guess like your liminal like understanding of where this film is set.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah. And the last thing I wanted to bring up was Nick Cave
Yeah,
is in this movie.
Nick
He
Cage.
doesn't show up for a while. He actually, so he does the soundtrack. And Kira was like, "Oh, you mean like the screeches, the random like whining?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's not called a music track, Kira. It's called a soundtrack. So he's allowed to do whatever he wants." Um, but
We're
yeah,
so used to soundtracks being
yeah,
quote unquote musical, but they don't
yeah.
have to be.
But yeah, no. And I guess like there were a couple bad seeds in the movie too.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, I think one of them was in the bad seeds for a while, at
Okay.
least. One of the characters in the movie, but but yeah. So he shows up like 3/4 of the way through. I was actually starting to I turned to Kieran and I was like,
Did I miss him?
Is Cabe ever gonna show up? Because his name comes
Yeah.
up and he's on he's on the cover of it. Um, and uh, yeah, he shows up and he
That was the greatest dialogue of all time.
immediately goes into a monologue that would make Quentin Tarantino jealous. So yeah,
And maybe even make Quentin Tarantino flush a little
yeah. Oh, potentially, potentially. Yeah.
Yeah, he some choice wording. Let's just say that towards his other the other inmates in the prison as he
Yeah.
walks through the
Yeah.
compound to
Yeah.
his room. And then he
Yeah.
proceeds to cut himself and use his blood as a way to mark on the wall of his
Yeah.
cell.
Yeah. And
Uh,
even his presence is used as this like turning of the screw because he's such a different level of inmate because
yeah,
he just constantly talks and he never shuts up and he starts driving all of them crazy
he
and
becomes
so
the actual soundtrack
yeah, yeah,
for the prison.
exactly. For the prison, yeah.
The screeches and
Soundtrack.
the howls.
Not the music track.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this was a wild film. Like I did not expect it to be this type of film, and I was surprised. I go back and forth. Like I wouldn't say I enjoyed the experience of watching this,
Yeah.
but I think it's a really well done and really the more I think on it, the more powerful I find it to be.
And-
Um,
yeah. I think when the movie ended, I was like, huh. Uh but then, it the next day I was like, okay.
it kind of
Yeah.
sticks on your bones
It
a little bit.
definitely stuck. And so I was like, okay, I think it's definitely in the camp of good. I'll have to think about it more to see like where it lands, but like, and I wasn't expecting that. I think
Yeah,
I mean I think more and more I expect it less of movies because I'm just
yeah.
old and jaded. But
Well,
but
and I
yeah,
think it's really hard to really quantify this movie because of what his next step was and
it's
how drastically different it is
not
from
a yeah.
like Proposition is a streamlined, like it's not mainstream by any stretch, but it's streamlined, it's like succinct, like there's a very clear narrative, like it's it's a film. Like like
It's
it's
also
something that anyone could watch and
yeah.
enjoy. Um and it's even and I haven't seen it in a while, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it's pretty accessible. This one is not accessible at all. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a correct take. It's not, Proposition is more accessible. It is very violent,
oh
so
yeah, very much so.
depending on your level of access for that,
There's a
maybe.
reason why he ended up doing a McCarthy book. Although
Yeah.
surprisingly, one of the lesser violent ones.
You know, I will say the road the book is still definitely like the book is definitely the best
Oh yeah,
like version of
yeah.
it,
Mhm.
but
But the
Hillcoat does a
movies, I mean,
the
as far
movie
as
is
movie
good.
adaptations
Yeah.
of McCarthy goes, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's even better than movies that McCarthy has written.
Oh yeah.
So
Outside of No Country for Old Men, which basically, if you've read that book, it's pretty much the screenplay for the movie.
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's like
Although, did he write the screenplay for it? I mean, even
no,
it's yeah. I think
but like it
The Coen
literally, if
brothers
you
did.
yeah, if you read the book, it's like it
Okay.
was clear that the Coen brothers like basically just like
Yeah.
damn near word for word like ripped
And
it off the page and put it on the screen.
I've heard that the jury is out on which one is better, the movie or the book on that one. And
So yeah,
I've actually never read
on that
the
one, I don't think there's a clear answer because I think they're just so closely tied. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I don't
yeah,
think you could really make a case either way
yeah.
strongly. So
Um, but yeah, so there's also the aspect that the proposition came out like 16 years after this movie
yeah,
too. So
yep,
there's like a huge gap, and I think maybe that's why I wasn't expecting this movie to like hit me in such a powerful way. Was like, oh, okay, what like how did he release this movie and then have to wait 16 years to like do something else? Because
and
yeah,
it'd be one thing if you look at his filmography and he's got like shit tons of music videos or something that he was doing in the meantime, but he doesn't.
yeah,
Like
and
it's just like he disappears for 16 years and then comes back and gets Guy Pearce on board and hey, let's shoot a movie.
yeah,
You know, it's like
yeah, no, and I
which if
think
you want to if you want to get a movie made, get Guy Pearce, man.
well, also famously, Nick Cave also wrote the screenplay
Yep.
for that, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, so I that was kind of around the time that Nick Cave had a good 90s.
Oh
He had
yeah,
a good
yeah.
90s, but he was also starting to shoot up really high into like the indie world, and there was some
Hmm.
indie movies coming out, and so it could have been maybe their friendship that
Yeah,
like boosted the proposition and then ultimately led to you know a resurgence of John Hillcoat. So that's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. No, this was a hell of a pick there, Jameson.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, I was trying to come up with something that keeps this bit going, and
mhm.
spoilers, we keep it going for at least one more episode.
uh,
uh,
Potentially two more, because I told you what Seth Wick, who is coming on our podcast.
ooh,
Uh, Seth Wick has picked his movie, and it is also prison oriented.
that's great. Can you tell me when he's coming so I can make sure to read
Uh,
everything?
well, I don't know when he's coming, but
He's
I
just gonna.
assume it's
Well,
going to be soon.
okay. Yeah.
I'm trying to get it within a reasonable time from the publishing of his book, which is
Ye-
in 2 days from this recording. So
okay. Yeah.
um,
Well.
it
Um.
may not be the next one, but I'm probably aiming for the one after that. So
Well, the next one you already have a movie picked,
yeah, I
so
already have a
we
movie
can
picked.
we can
So
go for that one. That's good to know. We can kind of aim for that. I'll still pick a movie just in case, but yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Ah, all right.
So
Well,
there you go.
anything else about Ghosts of the
No,
Civil Dead?
if you're really in for a movie that's going to stick with you afterwards, but it takes a lot of willpower to kind of get into and to stick with, give it a shot. I
Yeah,
think it's worth it. If you're just wanting entertainment, stay far, 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 far away.
yeah, and yeah. So it is available on YouTube.
Yep.
There's a couple full streams of it, but there are also a couple where it's like split up into 16 videos or something like that.
I honestly feel like it's almost better if you watch it as a VHS rip.
Yeah, there's something charming about that. And
it just kind of feels like you're like watching it the way it was meant to be watched, like
yeah,
almost in a weird way.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know if it'll
there
ever
you
get
go.
released on DVD or Blu-ray.
I
I
hope
mean,
it's
maybe.
not one of those movies that Hillcoat is trying to bury. I would hate to see that because I think it's got its own merit. So
You know what though? Like, it's okay. It can be forgotten.
it can be forgotten. It's just a wicked ripping shame if it is.
Yeah. I mean, it either has
Like the
been
end of the
or
world is not going to happen if it gets forgotten.
yeah. It either has been or will be forgotten. You know.
Well, it has been forgotten clearly
Yeah.
because I know I hadn't heard about this movie. Like in general, I think the only probably freaking Roger Ebert was probably the only person who saw this movie when it came out.
And who knows how he felt about it.
No, probably hated its guts.
Yeah. All right.
All right, well, bye.
Bye.